Here are 7 formal fallacies explained. 1. Denying the antecedent fallacy. This fallacy occurs when you incorrectly assume that if the first part of a conditional statement, the antecedent, is false, then the second part, the consequent, must also be false. Structure: if P, then Q. Not P, therefore not Q. Example: if it's raining, then the ground is wet. It's not raining, therefore the ground is not wet. Why it's a fallacy? The ground could be wet for other reasons, such as from sprinklers or a recently washed car. The first premise only states what happens if it rains, not what happens if it doesn't. 2. Affirming the consequent fallacy. This fallacy happens when you incorrectly assume that if the second part of a conditional statement, the consequent, is true, then the first part, the antecedent, must also be true. Structure: if P, then Q, Q, therefore P. Example: if it rains, then the ground gets wet. The ground is wet, therefore it must be raining. Why it's a fallacy? The ground could be wet for other reasons, like dew or a spilled bucket of water. The first premise only states that rain makes the ground wet. It doesn't say that rain is the only thing that makes the ground wet. 3. Fallacy of the undistributed middle term. This fallacy occurs when a shared characteristic between two things is used to conclude that the two things are related in some way, even though that characteristic is not present in all members of the groups being compared. Example: all dogs are animals. All cats are animals. Therefore, all dogs are cats. Why it's a fallacy? While dogs and cats are both animals, being an animal is a characteristic they share with many other things. You can't use a shared trait to claim they are the same thing. 4. Fallacy of the illicit major. This fallacy happens when the main term in the conclusion, the major term, is broader than it is in the premises. Example: all dogs are mammals. Fido is a mammal. Therefore, Fido is a dog. Why it's a fallacy? The conclusion assumes that being a mammal means something must be a dog, which is not true. There are many other types of mammals besides dogs, like cats or humans. The term mammal is used improperly between the premise and the conclusion. 5. Fallacy of the illicit minor. This fallacy is similar to the illicit major, but it involves the minor term, the subject of the conclusion. This occurs when the minor term is improperly shifted between the premise and conclusion. Example: all cats have tails. Fluffy is a cat. Therefore, Fluffy has a tail. 6. Fallacy of the exclusive premises. This fallacy occurs when a conclusion is drawn from two negative premises. Example: no birds are reptiles. No reptiles can fly. Therefore, no birds can fly. Why it's a fallacy? When both premises are negative, no valid conclusion can be made. The fact that birds are not reptiles, and reptiles cannot fly, doesn't logically mean that birds cannot fly. 7. Existential fallacy. This fallacy occurs when a specific conclusion is wrongly drawn from a general or universal premise. Example: all students in this class are intelligent. Jane is a student, therefore Jane is intelligent. Why it's a fallacy? A universal statement, all students, doesn't guarantee the existence of any specific member, Jane. In logic, all doesn't necessarily imply that something exists. The conclusion that Jane is intelligent relies on the assumption that she exists, which isn't stated in the first premise.